plain to see. You're the reason that God made a girl. When the day turns into the last day of all time, I can say, I hope you are in these
I mentioned last week that we were going to be celebrating our 21st anniversary, and we did. We survived. We're still together, so that's a beautiful thing. And we did. And but I will tell you this: that after 21 years, you may think that, wow, 20 years, man, you should have it all figured out. You should have it all good. Everything should be going, especially with what you guys do. You should be like the guy, the woman. And can I just tell you, we're not. We're just like you. We still argue. We still get into disagreements, which may turn into fights. But the one thing that we do have going for us is understanding that these things will happen, and just having the attitude that we will get through it, one way or the other. At least that's what Claudina tells me when she's yelling at me. We will go, you're going to get through it. You are going to get through it. But you will get through anything that you put your mind on getting through. And I've said this before, in life as well as in your relationships, whatever it is that you look for, you will find. So if you look to try to find everything wrong with your partner, if you look to try to find everything wrong with your relationship, you're going to do exactly that. You're going to find all the wrong things. And if you concentrate your efforts more on the positives of the other person, the positives of the relationship, the positive, even your job. We love to talk about the negatives of our job. And then we start, oh, my job sucks. I'm not even happy going to work or anything like that. But if you focused on the positives of your job, I have a job, let's start with that one, then things start looking a little bit better. Yesterday, we went to a memorial service of a friend of ours' mother who passed away. And this family is a Christian family, good family. The lady that passed away was 90 years old. Her husband had passed away, I think, in the last year or two. And he was very involved in the church, a bigwig in the churches and in the Assemblies of God. And we had gone to this service, and it was amazing because of this. The family, the daughters threw the service at their house, and the amount of people that came up and spoke, family members as well as friends and everything, the thing that we got from this is this family is surrounded by love, okay? And you're going to ask yourself, or maybe you're saying to yourself, what does this have to do with what we're talking about? And I will tell you this, that love conquers all. I know it's a simple statement, but it's a true statement, because without love, it's hard to get anything accomplished. And when you have love, it says that love covers a multitude of sins. That is also true. Relationships cannot survive without love. Whether it's a relationship with your child, a relationship with your spouse, a relationship with your boyfriend, your parents, your cousins, even work relationships, whatever the case may be, there has to be something inside of you that is drawn to loving somebody else. How many of you would agree that this world would be a better place if we could just get to the point, not just us, but everybody in the world, if we could express love towards one another? There's so much hate going on in the world. There's factions fighting against each other, and the reality of it is both factions still have wives and children and families and everything else that are losing people day by day. And if people just came to the basic of human functions and understand, you're a human being, I'm a human being, you have blood running through your veins, so do I, you have a family that you love, so do I, let's put our differences aside and make it work. Okay? Imagine, wow, I'm going for president in 2020. Because imagine if the world actually grasped that we could have peace in the Middle East, we could have peace throughout throughout the world because, Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, you know, he's a character. But the reality of it is somewhere through all that garbage, through all the machoism, through all the militarism, the guy still has a heart, I'm pretty sure, beating inside his chest. And he still has some kind of feelings for his family, even though he has them knocked off when they take him off. But nonetheless, he's got to have some kind of care. And if we could appeal to that, that makes things better. The ultimate example, the best example of love conquering all is Jesus Christ. God sent Jesus Christ down here to die for every single person in this room. I don't know about that outside this room, but inside this room, Jesus came for you. He came for me. He came for everybody. And God sacrificed his son because of the love that he has for his children. And sometimes it takes a blink of an eye for lives to be changed. I was talking before we got started about motorcycles and riding and the fear of death and all of this kind of stuff and how fast in the blink of an eye a life can be taken. And going back to the memorial service that we had yesterday, we were reflecting on someone's life and the love that they have for other people and what they inspired them to and what they showed them. And the reality of it is you have to grasp what you have right in front of you right now, appreciate it, and nurture it. Amen. So that it's there. You know? It's devastating when you get to a point where you lose somebody and you didn't have the ability to express the way that you feel or enjoy the way that you feel or enjoy the time because we let too many other things get in the way. Your notes reflect a scripture even on the first part of it. Actually, there's a lot of scripture today, and it's not usually like this, but it is what it is, and when it can be applied into our lives, who are we to turn around and say it's too much? But in Matthew 22, 34 through 40, it shows the most important commandment. Now, most of you know that. How many commandments are there?
12. 6.
One out of all of you knew that. Are you all afraid to put it in there? You know, there's 10. Okay, there was 15. They dropped one of the stones, and so they had to go down to 10. So that's one of the things right there. But the scripture says, when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees with his reply, they met together to question him again. One of them, who was an expert in religious law, tried to trap him with this question, "Teacher, what's the most important commandment in the law of Moses?" And Jesus replied, "You have to love the Lord, or you must love the Lord with your God, with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind." That's the first and greatest commandment. And the second is equally important: love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. Okay? It's important. Okay? Going on to John 13, 34 through 35, it says, "So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other." What does that say? That's love each other. "Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Now, take away everything outside of your relationship. Because as you've heard me say before, your relationship is your world. Your family is your world. So if you take God's word and you say in here, your love for one another will prove to the world. It's going to prove to your world that you are my disciples. Why? Because he gave you this new commandment to love each other the same way that he loved us. And if he loved us enough to come to this earth and die for us, is that something that you're willing to do for your spouse? Now, I know every man in here would go, "Absolutely, man. I'd take a bullet for my girl. Shoot. As long as it was in the back and I didn't see it coming. Because if it was facing me, I'd run. And and leave her to her own volition. Now, one of the things that is important is that it goes beyond, love is a word that is thrown around very easily, especially in churches. Love you, brother. Love you, sister. Love you. But how many times do you know that people say things, flap their lips and say things that really don't mean anything? It's kind of like you say I love you in one word, and then you ask somebody how they're doing, but you really don't want them to tell you how they're doing. Because ain't nobody got no time for that. Right? So you say, how you doing? And then they start getting into it, and you're like, oh, God. Right? But if you really love the person, you really do care about the person, you really do want to listen to them. Even if it's boring or you've heard the story before, you actually have a genuine concern for the other person. Well, this would hold true in your relationship. It's really important in your relationship. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to cry. No, I wasn't. Not going to sneeze either. Actually, okay. We'll just keep going. Did you cut me off? Did you cut me off? What happened? Uh-oh.
What were you going to do?
Did you change the battery?
I did.
Wait, okay. No, I just want to, okay, we'll move on. So look at 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 3. It says, love is the greatest. It says, if I could speak all languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. Okay, so my battery's done. So,
This one, it's just a big ring. Yeah, your assistants will.
all right. So until we get the battery changed, I won't probably talk as much because holding a mic for me is like taping my mouth shut. I need my hands to move when I talk. So it said, if I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Now, these are just words coming from a man who's trying to spread the good news of the gospel. Check. Sorry about that. All right, technical difficulties. So what he's saying is that it doesn't matter what you're able to do. It doesn't matter how good you are at something. If you don't have love in your heart, then it's worthless. Because without love, you got to remember, this whole creation of you and me and earth and water and sky and all this kind of stuff was done specifically because God loves us. So, if you go back and look at, on the second page, 1 John 4 through 10, or 4:10 through 12, it says, this is real love. Not that we love God, but that He loved us, sent His Son as a sacrifice to take away our sins. Friends, since God loved us that much, we surely ought to love each other. No one has ever seen God, but if we love each other, God lives in us, and His love is brought to full expression in us. And if we have God in us, and we have the same love in us that God has for us, then we should be able to express that to, first and foremost, our spouse.
It starts at home.
It does start at home. And then secondly, with our kids. Now that we've gone through these scriptures, if you go back to the first question, It says, according to these scriptures that we just read, to what standard of love are we called? So what is it exactly that God is wanting us to do in the way of love? Unconditional. Anybody else have a different, another word or another spin on it? I'm sorry? One more time. Conditional? Traditional. I'm sorry. 53, earrings going, what am I going to say? Yes.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Is that it? So this, yes. Mutual. That's nice, right? Nobody wants to put out love and not get nothing back. I need a little something, right? Right? I mean, love is mutual. Nobody wants to be in a relationship, any kind of a relationship, where it's give, and there's no take, or no giving on the other person's part. Remember, a relationship is reciprocal. And a lot of us have a hard time understanding the fact that a relationship, regardless of the relationship, but especially your intimate relationship, you are going to get exactly what you put out. Let me rephrase that. Okay? We're not talking about putting out. We're talking about what you put out emotionally. What you put out, okay, is going to be reciprocated. If you walk around with your head in the clouds and you don't give a rip about the other person's feelings or time or anything like that, then why would you expect anything different? Right? It's kind of like the boss at work. You know, the boss at work doesn't respect you, is always talking down to you, always yells at you, always embarrasses you. Why in a million years would he expect you to respect him? I don't care what the title is. Title means nothing to me personally. I don't care what your title is. Show me what kind of a human being you are. Now the same thing would hold true with your wife. Well, I'm your wife. Title means nothing. Show me what show me the person that you are. And then you act accordingly, right? If someone's a jerk to you, you can only sit there for so long with, yes, I understand, yes, I get before, boom, right? Not really, I wouldn't do that, Carla, sorry. But I wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? So it's whatever you're giving off, you're going to be receiving. So don't let that surprise you. So we are called to love like God loves. Did you have a comment? No? You okay? Okay. All right. So number 2, you're stewing. Yes, I know, exactly. I'll need a ride home, just so you guys know. Number 2, it asks, how is this love, the love of Christ, different from the love experienced in a lot of marriages or relationships? So how is it that the love that God has for us different than the love that we have in our relationships? I'm going to make you think this morning.
We have conditions. He doesn't have conditions.
We have conditions. That's excellent, Eric.
No, that's good.
Anybody else? Don't think that she got the end-all answer. I mean, there's other answers out there. What else?
Unselfish.
Unselfish? Okay. So God's love is unselfish. Is it fair to say that our love is kind of selfish?
Yes.
If, one of my number one statements in a relationship is, and I said this last week, if the husband put the wife first and the wife put the husband first in the relationship, man, that would eliminate so many problems. How hard is that?
Sometimes it's hard.
No, not sometimes. It's hard all the time. To become selfless or to be unselfish is a very difficult thing to do. Why? Because we are wired to be selfish. We are wired to go into survival mode. And it's like, no prisoners. I got to do what I got to do so that I can survive, and we go into survival mode, and we don't have that. We let things get in the way and cloud us as far as having that unabashed, pure, innocent love that God has for us.
I think this is why marriage is so special. And I do mean that with a sincere, it's special. Because when you are married, You are required to give, to give and take, to sacrifice, to do things that you wouldn't have to do if you were not married. And I think that, for those of us that are Christians or believers, that's why we believe that God created the marriage institution. It's because he knew that a husband needed a wife and a wife needed a husband, and he calls the wife a helpmate. A wife challenges her husband in so many ways. She doesn't, a helpmate is not just, being a good wife and vice versa, a good husband, but we're supposed to challenge you. You're going to grow.
I didn't see that in the Bible.
When you are when you are married, you are going to grow as an individual. You will be forced to grow in areas and stretch in areas that you never imagined that you were going to be tested in. And that only happens when you have someone now that's your partner that you are creating a life with that is very different than you, and you both have to make it work. You have a husband and a wife, very different people, very different backgrounds, and especially in the United States, culturally different in most cases. So you have these two people who have to make it work, who have to find a way to negotiate, to balance, to bring harmony into the home, because that's their job. It's not the job of one person, it's both of them.
All right. Ladies, how many of you agree exactly with what Claudina is saying? Don't be scared that your husband's sitting next to you. No, there's a few. I'll ask them to leave shortly. So here's the thing. It's true, but guys, see, the women are a little afraid to put up their hands. Let the guys, don't be afraid. I got your six. Is that what it's called? I got your six? I got your back? Why do they say that? I don't even know. It's a discussion for another day. But guys, I want to know this. How many guys in here feel like there are times when your wife talks to you, treats you like a child? Well, I just want to see you. No, actually, I was going to say, Senor John, you're the only guy holding out, man, and because you're scared of her. That's the only. Okay, now you put it up because you saw everybody else's hand up. Like, oh, okay, me too. See, so here's the thing. Why is it that women, again, it's this way that we're wired kind of thing, that woman takes on that nurturing role, that cheerleader kind of thing that we talked about. And because a woman is a nurturer, she is always looking out to help the kids, right? Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And of course, they're trying to teach. Well, men, because we are grown-up children, the woman, I'm just being realistic because I still get that from Claude. Actually, it happened this morning. Well,
I'll give you a hard
no, actually, I don't even know why I said that.
Like, do we understand?
Yes, we understand.
Are we on the same page?
I gotta go take a time out. The reality of it is that a woman gets frustrated with you as a man, just like she does with a child, because her expectations of your behavior, your conduct, your actions, your everything is at a certain level, a little above the children.
No.
Okay? Right? And so, but this is the way that they're wired. I don't think that my wife says something to me to hurt me. I don't think that she says something because it's like, I'm just in a baggy mood and I might as well take it out on my husband because he's the closest thing, right here, is because that's the way that they're wired. And so, but it's very easy for us to get offended, to get upset, and then what happens when somebody challenges you, or you may interpret it as attacks you, or talks negative about you? Man, you go into defense mode, right? And so you're not going to let her, well, the wife says, well, you do this, this, and this, and it just really infuriates me. Oh, really? Well, you do this, 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 and this, okay? And now it gets into a contest instead of all it was someone trying to express themselves, and because of the love that they have for them and the way that they're wired, things come. You see how we can misunderstand each other? You see how things can get out of control because really there's good intent. This is the person that loves me, that has accepted the challenge of being together with me till the day that I die, whether she incorporates that or not, you know. That's a commitment. But there's going to be frustrations along the lines of that commitment. There's going to be trials that come up. There's going to be things that challenge you as an individual and as a couple that's going to make you grow, whether you like it or not. You know, life is one of these things, and again, I have a tendency to repeat myself because some of the things that come out of my mouth are just phenomenal. You know, whether it comes out of a book or God inspired or whatever the case may be, but I will tell you this. If you are working on your relationship constantly, which evidence of being here, the challenges that we go through in life are meant to grow us. We know that there is no perfection in anything. Okay? You can go look at a $20,000 paint job on a car, and I guarantee you can find a flaw. So there is no perfection. So when it comes to your relationship, don't try to pre-think things. Don't try to, listen, it's like this. Your relationship is this. You get in your seat, you buckle up, and you hold on. That's it. Because you know that when you get on a ride, for the most part, you know it's safe. You know that you're going to get out when the ride is over, for most of us, you know. But you strap in because you know that there's things along the way that can toss you if you're not careful. Well, a relationship is the same way. When you get in, buckle in, sit down, hold on. It's going to get ride. It's going to be a ride. There's going to be things that are going to scare the heck out of you. There's going to be things that are going to thrill you to death. There's going to be things that are going to bring you joy and bring you pain. But you will come out on the other end if you buckle up. What are you going to say? You forgot.
I forgot.
All right. So, the love that God has for us versus the love that we have in our relationships, yes, it's a difference because He is perfect. Ours is not perfect. We still got work to do in trying to figure out exactly what we're supposed to be doing. In question number 3, it asks, how do these scriptures challenge you regarding the love that you have for your spouse? Now, nobody likes to sit here and admit, well, I've got faults. I've got areas that I need to work on. Hey, I'll stand up here in front of all of you and tell you, I've got a lot of areas to work on. Am I still selfish? Yeah, in certain aspects, I'm still selfish. And does Claudina ask me how many times do I have to tell you something before you get it? Yeah, she still does that.
I haven't done that in a while.
I'm pretty sure it was in the car on the way over.
That's
But
true.
but before that as well. But there's things that, you know, there's things that happen. And there's no perfection, but you work and you work and you work. You know, if you ever tried to do something, how many of you remember the TV show I Dream of Jeannie? Right? Okay, cool show. I fell in love with Barbara Eden while moving with a girl, you know, whatever. But anyway, but the thing was, listen, life is not all a matter of, okay? If it was, that'd be awesome. But that's not the way it works. It takes effort. You can't expect to sit in your driveway with the car there and the water hose sitting on the side and go, I don't understand. Why isn't it getting washed? I don't get it. It takes effort, right? So if you want something to happen, it takes effort on your part to make it happen. So too comes the love part. Okay, so we can all admit that we don't have the love part down, right? Anybody here have perfection in their love for their spouse? I didn't think so. So the reality of it is that we need to work on being able to love the other person. Now, not to say that we don't love the other person, we just don't love them enough. Or we don't love them to the level that the expectation from God has on us to love that other person.
We need to examine ourselves and ask ourselves, every now and then, it's okay to take inventory on who you are as a human being, as a father, as a husband, or as a wife, as a mother. And we need to take inventory and say, how selfish am I? Am I doing all that I can? And we all have limitations. Some of us are younger, some of us are older, some of us have illnesses, some of us, have more energy than others. So, we have to be fair. That's why we can't compare ourselves to other people. But am I doing all that I can with everything that is within me, with the energy that I'm provided, to make this relationship better? And sometimes we're not. We let the other person carry that load. And it becomes heavy. And it's not fair. It's exhausting. So we need to take inventory. I think that that's something that I do regularly. Sometimes I have to realize that, I have been slacking in this department. I need to try harder. Because we are required, to put effort into our relationships, into our marriage.
Guys, I just want to clue you in on something. This is a woman's way of getting you to think about the things that you've been doing wrong. When they say, oh, maybe I should think about where I'm slacking in my life.
No.
Because reverse psychology, I'm not.
It's reverse psychology.
No, but the reality of it is, because then you start thinking about, well, if she's going to think about the things that she's lacking in, she's going to make strides and efforts to do that. I guess I got to find something to work on because, it's not fair that one does it, the other one doesn't. So then you think to yourself, well, she's got a lot of areas that she needs to fix anyway, so I got time to catch up, because.
But that's a beautiful thing, okay, let's talk about this morning. I think we have a great communication. No, I'm not going to go into it. We have good communication. But just because you have good communication does not mean that you don't have frustrations. It's normal. As a married couple, you're going to go through frustrations. It just happens. So it's okay.
Okay. I'm so glad you said it's okay.
Well, some people have this image of what a relationship should be, and maybe for some it's wonderful, and they never fight, and they're always on their own. That's not for most couples, because we're human, especially if you have people that are married to each other that are very strong personalities, that are very much, what do you call it, alpha leaders, strong. Those couples are going to be challenged the most, and they're going to have to work harder because, you can't have just one. It's going to have to be both of you leading. So
one of the things, going back to this question number 3, how do the passages challenge you regarding the love you have for your spouse? Think about the love that, let me just get spiritual on you for a minute. Think about the time when Jesus walked the face of the earth. What did he do? He went around and healed people. He didn't know them from Adam. He did because he was God and he knows everything, but he didn't know them, right? Here's the guy at the edge of the pond or the lake. I've been sick for 35 years. Nobody's carried me down to heal me. You want to be healed? Pick up your mat and go. He loved people enough that it didn't matter who they were, what they looked like, where they were. He met them where they were and loved them for who they were. Just think about yourself. I'm not picking on anybody because we all are very judgmental. You drive down the street, you see someone walking down the street. Oh, they're on drugs. Oh, they're hammered. Oh, they're drunk because of the way that they're dressed or the shopping cart that they're pushing. I don't know. Whatever it is that, leads you to that decision. There's a lot of homeless out there that, yes, they have drug problems. Yes, but there's people out there that choose to be homeless because they don't want to deal with the bills and this and that. It's a free way of life. But then there's also people that have, were executives that, for whatever reason in the world, lost everything and have no choice, but they were put in a position where they became homeless. So who are we to judge? Right? Who are we to judge? I love nothing more. I'm this kind of person. If I won the lottery, oh God, you hear me? If I won the lottery, I would not dress any different than I dress now. I'm not going to go buy a Bentley or a Mercedes or a BMW. Well, no, I wouldn't buy it. That's just not who I am. I would rather spend my money in so many other different ways. I want to bless my kids. I want to make sure that my wife is taken care of after I die. I want to make sure that all those things. So that's not going to change me. But I can tell you this: There are times when, I'll get up and, hey, I need some milk, can you go run to Ralph's? And it's not far. But if I'm not showered, I'm going to throw on a shirt, I'm going to put a hat on, I'm going to go get milk. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care but I can promise you there's people that judge. What's this homeless guy doing with milk? I drove here and I live in the house where, I don't need to justify myself to anybody. Neither do you. The only one that you need to justify yourself to is God. So, being judgmental, think about how we are judgmental to the society, and we bring that into our relationship. Whether you want to realize it or not, we have a tendency to look at our spouse in a certain way and we judge. And that's something that we have to really try to eliminate, okay? We can't judge our spouse because there's no room for judgment. There's just no room in your relationship for judgment.
Well, Allan and I are two different backgrounds, two different cultures, so in the early days of our marriage, it was really hard for me not to have the expectations of what my dad was like. We put those on Allan. My dad was a Mr. Fix-It-All. My dad was, I never saw him cry. He's, not that he cried, but I was told within my culture that this is what a man is. This is what it looks like. This is what, and everything's fine and dandy. And then you marry somebody else that grew up in a completely different home, that was told that it's okay to express our feelings, that it's okay. So, you have that power struggle or that struggle of not understanding the other person until you realize that we're just humans and that you have to make your marriage, we had to walk away from what our parents taught us, what we had learned, and we had to make our marriage work. And there was no right, no wrong, it was just different.
How many of you grew up in a house, guys, how many of you grew up in a house where when it came time for holidays or meals or something like that you sat down and the women took care of everything? Right? I grew up in that. Okay? And then I married Claudina. Okay? So, as you can tell, I'm white. Okay? And as you can probably tell, she's a woman of the world, but she is Hispanic by nature. Okay? That crap does not fly in a Hispanic household.
Well, it
okay?
does, it's the older one. Not, in my case, it didn't, because...
Oh, so now it's not all Hispanics. You told me it was all Hispanic.
No,
Now it's just you.
my mother, that's why my mother checked out early. She's always working. I'm not gonna check out early because I'm serving everybody. I need some help.
So the culture difference, is it different? Yeah. And you grow up and things change. So she was the same way. I would sit down until I started getting these dirty looks. I'm like, what's wrong? Can you help me? I'm thinking, wow, that's out of character because I should be sitting down and you should be, the guys didn't help with dishes. That was the woman's job, the way I grew up. Well, that's changed, not by my doing, but it's changed, So you learn that even though there's no perfection, you learn to adjust. Go back to your notes and look at this next scripture. It says, called to serve. John 13, 1 through 17 talks about Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and it says, before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that this hour had come to leave the world and return to his Father. He had loved his disciples during his ministry on earth, and now he loved them to the very end. It was time for supper, and the devil had already prompted Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, and that he had come from God and would return to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, poured water into a basin, and then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus replied, you don't understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will. No, Peter protested, you will never ever wash my feet. Jesus replied, unless I wash you, you won't belong to me. Simon Peter explained, then wash my hands and head as well, Lord, not just my feet. And Jesus replied, a person who has bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet, to be entirely clean. And you disciples are clean, but not all of you, because Jesus knew who was going to betray him. And that's what he meant when he said, not all of you are clean. And after washing his feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I've given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. I tell you the truth, slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. And now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them. Listen, if I said right now, who here in this room wants to wash everybody else's feet? Nobody's going to go, oh, me! Right? Man, feet are nasty. Okay? Some nastier than others. Okay? And there's just a lot of things that you don't want to come into contact with somebody's feet. Okay? Now go back to biblical times, when there were no things called shoes. Okay? They walked around in dirt. They didn't have hot water or showers. Okay? Some nastiness. Okay? How many disciples were there?
12.
How many feet per disciple?
2.
Hopefully. Okay? That's 24 feet that Jesus washed. Okay? Why did he do it? Because he loved them. Would you say that that's a sacrifice in love to do something along those lines? You know, we hear the word servant, and it's used in Christianity a lot. Jesus was the prime example of a servant, right? He came to serve others. But we have this negative connotation when it comes to servanthood, because servant, slave kind of goes in the same category. It's like, man, I ain't nobody's slave. I ain't nobody's servant. But in reality, moms, you are servants to your kids. You are servants to your husbands. And husbands, you are servants to your wife. And you are servants to your kids. And sometimes you're servants to your bosses. Because you do things, going back to unconditional, unconditionally. If your man fell on his back, scraped up his back, there's a bunch of dirt and blood and everything else, are you going to look at him and go, man, I ain't touching that. You need to go find somebody else, or let me take you to the doctor, or let's just go to the car wash and I'll power wash him out, you know? Or are you going to go and do the best that you can because you love him? I know some of you are like, no, 911 is what I'm doing, right?
I have a perfect example for this illustration. I think some of us, some couples, they'll be married to a doctor, or to a lawyer, or to someone who carries a really high position. And when that person comes home, they bring that title in with them. And they forget that when they come home, they're no longer CEO, they're no longer whoever it is that they think they were at work. Now they're husband and father and wife. And their title, just like Jesus, he didn't consider his title to be above serving. So when you come home, you have to remember you're no longer that CEO. It's hard for some people to grasp this, because I mentioned this to your uncle. He said, what do you mean? I was up executive. But it's like, no, when, Allan was a pastor of a church, an associate. And when he come home and it's like, you're not a pastor here, you're a dad and a husband, load the dishwasher. Right. Well, because he was my husband. And that's how Jesus was. Jesus was Jesus, but yet he didn't consider himself to be greater than anybody. And that is so perfect for this, because when you are married, it doesn't matter what your title is, what your education is. You're not better than your spouse. You're there to help them, make their life easier. So a husband's job is to make his wife's life easier, and the wife's job is to make her husband's life easier.
Make no mistake about it, folks. The higher you climb, the harder you're going to fall. If you want to put yourself above, then you better be ready for the consequences that come with high altitude. You know what I'm saying? Listen, humility is a very difficult thing for a lot of people, but I can promise you it's something that you should familiarize yourself and embrace, because humility will take you a lot further than pride and selfishness. Yes? Nobody agrees with that. It's like, no, I'm good. All right, so out of the scripture that we just read, really, what was Jesus trying to teach the disciples? What was he trying to teach them? In reality, I'm asking you, what are we trying to get you to understand from that scripture when it comes to your relationship? Yes.
Be humble.
Be humble. Veronica?
Humility.
I'm sorry?
Humility.
Humility, okay. Yes?
Equality. I think he was trying to show them that he was not any better than they were.
That's good.
Okay, that's good. Anybody else? Yes?
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So the reality of it is out of this scripture, you can see that obviously the whole book is designed to teach us, to guide us, right? And so the prime example out of here is he's showing you. You ever hear the terminology lead by example? Right? It's like if you're a boss, if you have people underneath you, you can't tell people or dictate to people or delegate to people something that you're not willing to do yourself. Right? I'll never forget, I remember my parents, I don't know at what point or how many times they said it, but I'll never forget that saying that says, do as I say, not as I do. Let me say that again, just so that it sinks in. Do as I say, not as I do. So I can go out and act a fool, but I'm going to tell you differently. You have to understand that you are a product of your actions. If you think about yourself as a tree, what kind of fruit are you giving off? What kind of fruit are you bearing? Are you bearing sweet fruit? Or are you bearing lemons? I know the Hispanics are like, what's wrong with the lemon tree? I got one in my front yard, just like my neighbor. What's wrong with that?
Stop.
Isn't that a prerequisite?
It's a prerequisite.
Okay.
No, it's
So,
not.
no, but the reality of it is, you gotta look at your life as, pretend you're a tree. What kind of fruit are you giving off? Because in reality, that is the bottom line of your life. What's your fruit? Is it a pleasant, sweet-smelling aroma when people are around you, or is it bitter? Is what you're putting off? What is it? I know sometimes, he's like, what the heck is he talking about? Fruit trees and all this. You get what I'm saying, right? Yeah, please nod your head so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Do you have a comment?
What if you like a mixed tree with different fruits?
That's jacked up. No, but there are times when, of course, there are times when you're bitter like a lemon, and then there's times when you're sweet like a nectarine, a good nectarine. I don't like the peaches with the hair, but that's the difference. But the reality of it is there's times, but the idea is you know that a fruit tree, if you combine two fruit trees, it's not a productive tree. You've never seen a tree that has, this, that, and the other thing. So you want to gear yourself towards, okay, yes, I understand that my tree isn't perfect, but I'm gearing more towards the nectarine than I am the lemon. And you have to work your way towards that. So
What I'm hearing from this is, you have to make a decision. You're either going to be an a-hole, or you're going to be a decent human being. And the choice is yours.
okay.
Because whatever you
Tell us how you really
decide,
feel.
well, whatever you decide, your family will be eating that fruit. If you are producing sour, bitter, how selfish is that your whole family has to endure that?
And that goes back to what I've said many times about, remember, every day you wake up, you start off on this road. And every decision that you make is a turn in the road that's going to affect where you wind up. Not only you, but your family. Because every decision that you make affects not only you, but your relationship and your family. Are you with me? All right. So, question 5 asks, why do you think Peter was so resistant to Jesus' actions? Why was he so resistant? 2 words. Pride and selfishness. Telling you guys, those are the 2 biggest problems in our lives. Pride and selfishness. Pride and selfishness.
I think Peter probably thought that he wasn't worthy enough or good enough. You could look at that side too. but that's a form of pride. Jesus wanted to be good to him, and he didn't want that. And when you're married, sometimes your spouse wants to be good to you, and you won't let them because you have an insecurity or you're prideful. If your man wants to vacuum, let him vacuum. It may not be perfect, but let him do it. You know, allow. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. Well, if your husband wants to help you, let him help you. Don't be too proud. You know, sometimes as women we're like, oh no, don't. This is my thing. I'm gonna do this. Don't touch it or whatever. If they want, it's okay.
But the thing is that, and guys, again, how many times have you done something for your wife and you didn't do it to her liking, right? Load the dishwasher. Oh no, this will never do. This will never do. This has got to come out. You don't put those here. Let me show you. Let me show you. You go to vacuum a room. Oh, you don't have the lines right. Lines? You see the bag is full. It's vacuum. Yes, but it's not done the way I do it. Then you do it. Okay? So when she says, ladies, the men aren't going to do it the way that you do it, that's because we're not you.
That's right.
So stop putting that on us. If you ask us to vacuum and we vacuum, you better be good with the way that we vacuum. Unless, of course, they're doing the Daytona way of vacuuming, all circles. I don't do it like she does it. Just the same way as if I ask her to go, if she says, I'm going to go wash the car, you better not say nothing. What about the rims? So what about the rims? Well, usually I get down and polish it. Here you go. Here's the rag. Here's the polish. Knock yourself out. I ran it through the $6 car wash. She did what? We don't do things the same. And that's okay. But stop having this attitude of, you didn't do it to the way I want it. Well, if you want something done the way that you want it, you do it yourself. Because your kids aren't going to do it the way that you want it. Your man's not going to do it the way that you want it. Your woman's not going to do it the way that you want it. And even after 21 years, okay, I still don't do it the way that she wants it. Vacuuming, I'm talking about. Okay? You guys are twisted. Huh? Yeah. Yes, Melinda.
I'd get mad if you did that to me, and I'd be like, you're being lazy. Like, if you didn't shine the rims like I usually do, I'd be like, why can't you do it? I'd be like, you'd be being lazy.
Okay, that won't fly. That's cool, but how much better would it be if you just didn't say anything and just did it? Because kind of like what Claudina said, you got to choose your battles.
But if you're gonna do a job, why do it half, not do the full job like it's supposed to be?
Okay, so let me just, and I'm not saying that you're not right, because what works in your relationship works in your relationship. But again, so everybody has an idea in their head of what perfection is, right? If you go and you do something, if I'm going to vacuum, I'm going to vacuum to the best of my ability. Okay?
So you do it
And
to
the,
the best.
and the best of my ability is maybe not, I don't do the designs and the rug and the lines like she does it. But that doesn't mean that I didn't do my best. So if you're going to turn around and bag on me for me doing my best, but it's not what you think is best, that's going to be a problem.
But what if
So-
I take my sweet time and make sure it's done properly for the family, and then he just goes through, not that he vacuums, just an example, but say he just goes through it, oh, I got it done.
Then you get to the point where, but do you want to argue over that?
I feel like he's being careless and lazy.
Right, but he can turn around and say, pull out his list and go, this is where I think you're careless, so, but, it's like.
I try to better him, I would try to better it.
It should be a mutual understanding that it comes down to, you give it your all, I'm gonna give it my all. But you cannot, hear me, you cannot, after every situation, well, you could have this, and this. Oh, you could have, because the other person starts to feel like they're picked on, and they feel like they can I do anything right?
Okay, so
I didn't fold the underwear, military style, that's it, on the floor, do it again. What?
No.
Man, I don't care if you fold my chones, just put it in the drawer so I know you're doing
I
it.
take the trash out once in a while, I go put a bag in. He takes the trash out and doesn't put a bag in, so then I end up having to put a bag in. I have to take out, I put a bag in, and then he takes the trash out, he doesn't put a bag in.
You're
That's not
you're
I
fair.
have the answer for
You're,
that.
no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
That wasn't me.
I'll put a bag in, that's fair. I put a bag in trash.
Okay, come up here now.
Oh, okay. Now you get it. Now you get it.
Okay, I don't know how long you've been together. We've been together 21 years. 2 years, okay. After year number 5 or 6, you realize that the tension in the home over a bag is not worth it. So you just put the bag in. You know, it's not a big deal. Choose your battles carefully.
It's okay for me to put the bag in when
I-
I take the trash out, but he can't?
You know what? That's something you can discuss. I have a hand up over here.
I have a comment. If you really want to bless your spouse, you're gonna do it. You're gonna see how they do things and do it to their criteria. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yes, Mr. Sergio.
We've been together for over 24 years and married for 17. And it took me about
24.
we were married for 17 kind of together for 17 years. And it only took me about 2 years ago I actually started doing it.
So that took 22 years. There you go. I'm just kidding. No, wait a minute, let me, so basically, okay, Monique.
For me, it's not that maybe he's not thinking about it, maybe he got distracted because
Oh, he does, it's not on purpose, no. That makes me more furious for my kids.
So that's
Well,
not-
and especially,
That's not what we
Melinda,
looked at
do
today.
you, are you a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
That's your job. So when you're a stay-at-home mom, that's your job. You are, no, I was a stay-at-home mom, that's why I was meticulous. So it's like,
That's one thing I asked, is just the trash, I do everything.
and so when I was a stay-at-home mom, I took my job seriously. I was the CEO of my home, it was gonna look perfect, my grass was gonna be immaculate, take the ruler, measure the grass. I took it really seriously. So it would really bother me, you know, that, but I had to choose my battles.
So I thought the man takes the trash out.
No.
It's
No.
just petty. I have, boy, you know, you have to come to a place in your relationship where you have to choose your battles. And sometimes, you know, husbands and wives have to bite their tongues.
It's amazing because you finally hit something where.
The trash bag and the,
Everybody wants to chime in. Hold on.
Every
Oh.
single household.
You- Oh.
You have to tell me to take the trash out, but put the bag in the trash.
Okay.
Put it in the trash.
are you guys trying to break us as women so we stop?
Hold on.
I thought we're a football team, it's a team.
Yes.
The quarterback doesn't play wide receiver.
Right.
So let's figure out.
Right. Hold on. Well, Monique is gonna pass out here in a minute. Hold on. Sean, you had something to say.
Well, I have 23 years married with my wife, and we still have trouble. So, and sometimes I take the time to clean my car very good, and she take it to the car wash and pass, you know, for drive-through, and wash the car. So I try to clean my car, you know, vacuum, clean inside and everything, and she go to the station and pay $3.99 to wash the car only outside,
Right.
and he didn't wash the rims. So to wash the rims, I have to be my knee scroll because it's very thick, you know.
How old are your kids?
Well, I have only 3 kids. I have 22, 20, and 15.
Are they all at home?
No, my biggest is go out. My son is in the army.
How old is the oldest at home?
15.
Nice.
Stick it to
Give it to him, let him. Go do the rims on the car, mijo. Or is it your daughter? Is it a girl or a boy?
Girl.
It's Julia.
Okay, mijo.
She's a good girl, she's helping us with the kids.
Okay.
But anyway, the bottom line is this, we're all different. We're not as good, I'll call on you, Monique, in a minute. When we got married, the reality was this, I was very resourceful. I grew up in a home where I can make something out of nothing. I mean, I come up with some stuff, some tchotchke stuff. We call it Chava ideas, because that was my dad, Salvador. I mean, I come up with some stuff, my brain just works. I have to be very resourceful, because there's so many of us, and we didn't have the resources. Allan grew up very well. He had a maid, they just wrote a check, you know, if they needed something fixed. So, that's, you know, he can't be as creative in some areas inside out. But that's okay, we help each other.
This is backhanded baggage.
No, it's not, but it's true. We're very different. And even he's amazed. Like, if I come up with something, he's like,
Oh, she child stuff. Blows me away, man.
But we make it work, and
Yes.
we've decided that we're gonna choose our battles. It's
Yes.
just, and we're gonna have fun.
And she takes out the trash just as much as I do.
I do.
And she puts the bag in.
And I have boys that live with me that don't put the bag in too now.
That's a Sunday for a different day.
The way I see it is my job is half done and half is a relief, so it's, hey, thank you, you took out the trash, I don't have to go all the way out to the trash, I'm gonna leave the kids in the house. So then in anything, don't get me wrong, I have my issues that sometimes I get frustrated because we have different ways to see it, but then I'm learning that, hey, you know what, that's what I had to do, thank you so much, now I can move on to something else.
Let me put it in this perspective for you. The days of roles are done. Okay? Because I grew up the same way. When I got married to Claudina, I told her before we even got married, you will stay at home and take care of the kids in the house, and I will take care of working and paying the bills. That was the traditional, man-woman kind of thing. Yeah, that didn't work. You have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to be able to change, and those days of, well, I don't do this because that's a man's job, or I don't do this because that's a woman's job. Man, I've done loads of laundry with bras and panties, and I've told my son not to do that anymore. But I've folded, towels. I've done, and she's done stuff that a guy should be doing. You just do what works, guys. If you're going to get so wrapped up in titles and descriptions, and man, who needs that? You're supposed to be a team. Work together to get it done. I'll take out the trash. Can you put a bag in?
I'm already finished stuff. Like, I don't need to stop.
I'm not, we're beyond you. I'm not talking about you anymore.
We'll have lunch with you guys.
Okay, we won't talk about trash anymore, okay? Don, take the friggin' trash out, okay? Leave her alone.
No, it's not taking the trash, put the damn bag in.
Put the damn bag in, Don. Put the damn bag
All
in.
of you, men, put it back in the
That's
trash.
it. Don't even take the trash out until you put the new bag in.
No, we have empty bags in the bottom of the
Yeah,
trash.
put a new bag at the bottom of the can. Carla.
I would have to agree completely with what you're saying, that you have to pick and choose your battles and you have to get over it and do what's best for the family unit.
Yes.
We ran into, the situation we're in right now is Robert lost his job, so he's been at home, and now I'm the provider. So now the roles are reversed, and he's staying at home, and I know what it's like to be at home. And I talk to him and I give him suggestions as to how things would better work. And sometimes he doesn't like it. And I've learned, you know what, I'm gonna suggest it and that's it. If I get home and it's not done like I do it, I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
And not say anything.
But the fact that you have a gun and handcuffs, that changes things a little bit. In a couple of different ways. All right, so we have to move on. We really do. But that was great. That was great because you all got something out of it, and I'm sure you heard. Oh, they argue over those things too. We're not as jacked up as we thought. You're as jacked up as everybody else is. So, and that's the reality of, guys, we need to be able to laugh because we are jacked up. We're not perfect. There's things that need improvement, and it's so cool to come together and go, oh my God, they're jacked up too. That'll be your topic on the conversation on the way home today. It's like, oh my God, I am so relieved that we're not the only jacked up one. This actions couples take things on something. So, let me give you.
We're setting you free, it's okay.
Yeah, let me give you one more scripture. Matthew 20:25 through 28, it says, Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials want their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be a servant. Whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. Even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and give his life as a ransom for many. The thing is this, it's like I told you, if you're an employer or if you have people underneath you, How can you expect someone to do something if they don't see you doing it yourself? I would never, ever ask somebody to do something that I wasn't willing to do myself, okay? That's just common sense. And you lead by example. You want people to see that you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, that you're not afraid to do something. And if you want to be the leader of the household, the way that you become the leader of the household is become the least of the household. You become a servant in order to become a leader. I know that in your mind and reality, it's a contradiction of terms because servant and leader doesn't jive. But that's where servant leader comes together. You have to be a servant leader. It's putting, and I don't think anybody goes into a relationship or goes into marriage thinking to themselves, oh my God, I can't wait to get married so that I can put myself last and put everybody first. Yay me! Right? Nobody goes down the aisle going, I can't wait to be a servant. I can't wait to be a servant. Do you love, honor, and cherish, death do you part, become a servant? Yes, absolutely not. But in reality, that's the way it needs to become. Is if we had that servant mindset that and we can joke around about it, but the reality of it is if someone's taking advantage of you, that's a different story. But it becomes very easy to be a servant when the other person has the same mindset. I'm going to serve you, you serve me. Let's serve each other. Let's be there for each other. Let's work on this together. How about you grab this side of the trash bag, I'll grab the other side of the trash bag, let's take it out together. I'll open the cabinet, you grab the bag, we'll put it in together. Right? Better do it when you get home.
Do you want me to take it out? No, that's okay. I'll have a sarcastic look as I'm taking it out instead. But it's all in fun. It's joking around. We don't fight about the trash anymore. We don't fight about the toilet paper anymore. It just.
No, I fix it every time, so it's fine. The thing is, the way that Christ describes a leader is different than the way that our world describes a leader. You hear a world leader, you hear a president or president or a king or whatever the leader of the free world, the leader of the United States, the leader of Egypt, whatever the case may be. And a leader is different when Christ is talking about it because the description is way different. So you got to remember, this world that we're a part of, this world that we're living in, is really, it can drag you down if you're not cognizant, if you're not watching, if you're not aware of the things that are trying to come into your world. So you have to be, it's almost like you have to be on the defensive. It's a war, folks. It really is a war. And it's a war that you want to win. Because the more diligent you are about protecting your world to be on the defense and even sometimes on the offense, and I don't mean that with the other person, but I mean defending your world, which is your spouse, your kids, your family. That's your world. So yes, the views are different. Can you take Christ's example of servanthood and practice it in marriage? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know as well as anybody. We work longer hours, we work more, we work harder, sometimes 2 jobs. And, life is more difficult, the middle class is going away, the government makes us more dependent on them, all of these different things. But to practice servanthood or to be able to do those things in marriage is a decision. It's a decision. It doesn't matter that you come through the door and you're tired. It's hard for me to grasp that. It took me a while too, kind of like Sergio, maybe not as long, but for me, it took me a while to come home and think, I'm done. I've worked my 8 hours, my 10 hours, I'm gonna crash on the couch, I'm not helping with nothing. That's not what I said, but in my mind it's like, I work, you have your job, I have mine. But see, the woman's job never stops. Or if you're a stay-at-home dad, your job never stops. And I know what that's like. I was in a position where I was unemployed and she was out working and I was Mr. Mom. Kind of that is, but yeah. My daughter still to this day says, I love Daddy's sandwiches. He always had something to do with me when I came home. But the reality of it is you know, you just have to, do it. Our relationship is not going to be good by just sitting around and wishing that it's good. It takes effort. It takes proactiveness. It takes a decision that you are going to put forth the effort necessary for it to work. That's the important part. Let me get through what I can here in the next 3 minutes. The last scripture on your back page, it says that we're called to humility. Philippians 2:1-8. It says to have the attitude of Christ. Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from his love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, working together with one mind and purpose. Let me stop there. You as a couple need to be on the same page. What do I mean by that? You have to have one mind, one purpose. Now, are the two of you going to agree on everything? Absolutely not. Never going to happen. Okay? You're going to disagree. But if you don't communicate enough with each other about what your goals are, what your dreams are, how you're going to attain those things, then you cannot be working together because there's no direction. Communication, and I know this series is coming soon. We're going to do a series on communication, but communication is part of the foundation of your relationship. You need to be able to get past how was your day, what's for dinner, what's the weather like. You got to have those deep conversations. A relationship cannot grow, nor can it sustain itself without serious conversation. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. Think of others as better than yourself. Don't look out for only your own interest, but take an interest in others too. That's a tough one. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress other people. We live our lives trying to impress other people. The way that we dress, the car that we drive, the house that we live in, the places we go. Yes, it makes us feel good, but you got to impress somebody else. You have to have the same attitude that Christ had. Even though he was God, he didn't think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his privileges. He took the humble position of a slave, was born as a human being, and when he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. Now, folks, we're called to live like Christ. It will never be 100% attainable. But we are called to try. Your relationship calls you to try. Your spouse, your kids call you to try. Most relationships that fail is because they stop trying. Failure only occurs when you stop trying. I tell that to every couple that ever comes to me that has the problems and they're at their wits' end with each other. When is enough enough? When you've tried everything. What's everything? When you can't figure out another way to try something. You have to come to a decision. I love the fact that we can have fun and we can laugh and we can have a good time. I'm all about that. But Claudina and I are so passionate. I'll just leave it at that. We're just really passionate. No, we're real passionate about relationships. We're real passionate about marriages. We truly want to flip the divorce rate on its head. But the only way that that's going to happen is if people are proactive. If people can get past themselves and get rid of selfishness and get rid of pride. Because like I say, and I will say till my last breath, come to me with any problem in your relationship and I will tell you it comes down to pride or selfishness. Think about your last argument. And of course it's the other person's fault because they were being prideful, they were being selfish. But you know, when you get in an argument and you can't bring yourself to say I'm sorry, it wasn't my fault. Pride. I'm probably the worst offender at that. And Claudina, I'm surprised she's shaking her head. You know, I without intentionally knowing, I guess I'm a prideful person. I have a hard time owning it and admitting that I'm wrong. I do eventually, because she pins me down and pulls a pillow over my head until she can hear me say I'm sorry. But it's pride. When you can't take responsibility for your actions, it's pride. When you can't give in to the other person, it's selfishness. So, you know, we go into a relationship thinking it's all about me, what I'm going to get out of this. What if, you know, this is, oh man, I got a piece of eye candy that's going to look good on my shoulder. I got someone that's going to clean the house and that's going to go out on dates with me. It's going to make me look good. It's going to do my laundry. It's going to cook my meals. And then things don't work out the way that you thought they were, and that's because you had these expectations that were unrealistic, and now you become disappointed, and when disappointment comes in, then frustration comes in, and then bitterness sets in, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm not in love with that person anymore. Well, you fell in love with a dream.
That's good.
What, you know, and again, love is a decision. Yes, you get the butterflies in your stomach. It's usually from not eating. But yes, somebody can make you feel that way in your stomach and give you butterflies. And you get ooh, googly woogly over them, right? And they make you feel good to be around them. But your decision to love is a decision that the emotion follows.
Decision, a commitment to stay.
So when somebody says, I fell out of love with them, no, you decided not to love them anymore. Because if love is by definition what God says, it's unconditional. Even though you say stupid crap, even though you act a fool sometimes, even though you treat me not the way I want to be treated all the time, I still decide to love you. Because I know you're flawed just like me. May not be the same flaws, and I sure hope you don't keep count. Well, they got 18 flaws, I'm only at 3. You know? Man, you got flaws. It don't matter if it's 1 or if it's 13, it's a flaw, you're not perfect. Look in the mirror, get it right. You know? I'm not bagging on anybody. Like I said, we're the prime example, man. We still go through it. But we keep fighting, we keep deciding. You know my parents divorced, most of you. I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick this marriage out till she kills me or I die.
Amen.
Amen, right? Amen. You know? Because what's the worst that can happen to me? You kill me, I don't have to deal with it anymore. If I die, well, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean, you know, if you're so unhappy that you think that, this is the great one. Okay? I'm sorry. Is this yours? No. I forgot what I was going to say.
You said it was a good one.
No, what I was going to say was, you know, it's just, everything is a decision, man. It's a decision. Things are not going to be perfect. But if you both are willing, if you both are able, then you can get past whatever it is. And you may be thinking to yourself, you know, we're in a good place right now. That's okay. All of these tools that you're getting are preparing you for the future. Because something's going to happen. I remember PA said something. I remember he read that, or I remember he said that, or I remember whatever the case may be. Or if you're any kind of smart, bless you, you are saving every single one of these. Get yourself a 3-ring binder, poke some holes in it, and save them. Because this could save your relationship at some point. Or somebody else's. And that's the idea, folks. That's the idea. We're never going to turn the divorce rate on its head unless somebody else pitches it. Right? Oh. In the water.
Stop it.
No sirve. No sirve. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
I think good and the bad. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
It's on.
Now it is.
When you know you're committed, like he jokes around about, I'm gonna kill him, you know, we joke around, but when I know that he's in it to win it, and I'm in it to win it, and he's not going, there is such a sense of peace knowing that it doesn't matter how much we don't like each other at times, or we do like each other at times. The fact that I know that we're both committed to this marriage makes it so much easier, even when you're having an argument, because I know that I may be on his very last nerve, but I know that he values our marriage and the family. And he can feel that about me too, and that makes things easier. It's no fun being in a relationship when you're constantly thinking the other person's gonna bail, or they're looking for the bigger, better deal. That is not good. So if there's anything that you can do is go home, talk to each other, convince each other that you're in it to win it. No matter what, come hell or high water, we are gonna do this. We're gonna grow old together. We are gonna raise our kids, and we're gonna do the best that we can, no matter what life throws our way.
No, and the last thing I want to leave you with is, it's amazing to me how many people are willing to be in a relationship for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and decide, I'm done. I'm gonna throw it in. How fun is that to be able to make a decision in midlife, 20, 30, 40 years old, even 50 years old? Hey, even though I invested 10 years of my life with this person and it didn't work out, I want to go find somebody new. Right? Or an affair happens, and you think because of the sex that this is the person that you should have been with, and you made a mistake with the person that you're cheating on, and so you decide to move. You think the other person doesn't have flaws? Man, after 3-4 years, you already know what you got. Deal with it. Because if you think starting all over again in today's society, I would not want to be single for nothing today. I'm thankful that I'm married. And for those of you that wish you were single at any point in your life, think again. It's not a good place. Okay? Now, damn it, go home and be happy. Okay? All right. So, let me just give you a couple of announcements.